Boo, 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 boo. Welcome to the very, 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 very first podcast episode of the Carve Daily podcast, featuring myself, Kev Magic, Kevin Mahoney, and I'm not going solo. My partner in crime, as always, the queen, the dawn. Should I call her the dawn? But you can introduce yourself.
Wow,
I mean, I'm
wow.
sure everybody knows who you are, though. So yeah, let's go.
Well, you know what? That is an intro and a half. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Carve Daily podcast. This is our very first episode. I go by Celepa Maifadi. Some people call me Cat. Some people call me a whole lot of stuff. So you can call me Cat, Celepe, whatever you want to vibe with, Ketla Kizzle, because she is in the building, okay? And I'm happy to do this. We've been planning to have a podcast for the longest of time, and right now, as you know, we already have the podcast, the Carve podcast series, but right now we're just trying to elevate a bit more and do something different by having a daily show every single night and unpack basically all the updates of what's hot on social media. Talk about the latest in arts and entertainment, and obviously get to feature a couple of people in the game that we are able and have at least the opportunity to reach out to, and we'll be able to have some chats with us on this platform. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are at Carve_Africa on some platforms and Carve.Africa on some platforms, but we are Carve Africa, okay? You can find us on www.carve.africa. That's our site. Everything art, entertainment, lifestyle, travel, the works. We are there and we're talking about it, and we are so happy to be here today. So yes, Gil, do another poo 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 poo.
Boo, 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 boo. Like you just said, do another poo, 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 poo. I was waiting to do that, but you're like, do another poo, poo, poo.
Yeah, I was just cueing you in. Don't be shocked that there are no effects right now. This is our very first episode, and we just like here to test it out. And because we believe that content is king, we believe that whatever we'll be talking about will be interesting enough for you to stay. Okay, so Gio, let's jump straight into it. So you know that Mondays are a big thing for Carve, okay? Like Carve Mondays, because we don't believe in like having a blue Monday or whatever the case is. We're not down for that, and we just always trying to liven up the space and have a Carve Monday. Okay, so this started 2 years ago. The other day, actually, we were celebrating Carve's second birthday on Saturday. And that reminded me of like where Carve Monday came about, because we had our radio show on Brand Live at 27 Boxes every Monday. So that's how we kind of got to, you know, switch things around and bring some goodness into Monday. So we trust that you are having a good one today. How was your Monday, Gail?
My Monday was I can't really say productive, but it really got me thinking about a whole lot of things.
Yeah, man.
I got to exercise. I got to meditate. I got to journal as well. So yeah, it had my 9 to 5 in it, which I cannot mention here. But yeah, it was a Monday. It was a Monday. How was your Monday? You probably ran the country, spoke to the president, and what happened?
No, I did no such thing. We're getting ready to launch quite a big campaign tomorrow, where I work my 9 to 5. So yeah, we're excited about that. And so we were just putting together all the final touches of that plan. And I guess I was just looking forward to being here. And, you know, I think that's how my day went by even quicker. And, you know, just from what I was saying about celebrating Carve being 2, turning 2, I'm just so excited for this new chapter and for us to just see what more we're going to be able to put out there, you know. But before we do way too much talking and being too cheesy and all of that, let's just jump into like what's coming up on the show. So, you know, it's a very exciting one for us today, because not only are we doing our first episode, but we have Saul Madiope in the building, and that is a good friend of mine. And right now he has new music coming up. He's really influential in that space. A whole lot of great things that have come up from his career, and we can't wait to have a chat with him. And obviously we're going to touch base on what's trending on the timelines. Kiro, what's been happening on your end? What's the craziest thing that you have seen trending today?
Well, not really crazy per se, because I feel like people are excited that we back to level 3. People get to party, and creatives get to make money from their hustle as well. So I see Homecoming Picnic just announced that people will start buying tickets soon.
No, they have already bought tickets. So many tickets that the site even crashed. And the site even crashed. People have bought those tickets, and tickets are ranging from like 14,000, 12,000, 9,000, 10,000, and people are just like, some people are ridiculing those people who have bought 14,000 rand tickets. They're just like, dude, you could go on a holiday out of the country or go far. Like, how are you just going to Sun City for 2 days, 3 nights, and paying that ridiculously amount price? I don't know.
It also depends how you look at it. It also depends. It also depends how you look at it. I mean, we've been, in severe lockdown for so many months, and if you get that opportunity and have the money to go spend it, especially supporting a Black-owned business, events, why don't you do it? Do it. If you're not doing it, it's your money. Go do it. Whether it's money you can use overseas, locally, do it. So Sun City Takeover, Homecoming Picnics, they're very... the trendsetters in terms of doing such events in South Africa. So congratulations to them. I don't know, are you going when is it, in November, from the 26th?
Agna 14 thou like better lot, because definitely ke some sokolo ano go kiyange re kana ra QL in some sokolo, definitely, because that's who I am at this point in time. And for me, that was the highlights of today. I saw also her Mam Kize and Team Yavona is also trending. And I'm just like,
that one is a tricky conversation, because if you speak about South African soccer and how people can easily come in with money and choose to, I want to buy a Kaiser Chiefs, for instance, and people can easily change the names and do whatever. Because for them, I think the whole debate is they have money and they just want to buy their way up to the top. Although they had a good season, because I feel they should have just allowed their players to just play the playoffs, and who knows, they wouldn't be in this situation. But as I said, that's another conversation. But another story, I don't know if it was trending, but Pretty Ugly is going to be dropping this Wednesday. But we'll speak about him when the album drops, because he's like, I'm gunning for your favorite rappers. I am gunning for them. And
gunning like, for them, Biang.
Because he's that rapper, from back in the day. He's been doing his thing, so I really can't wait to hear.
He's got a handful of dust for your favorite rapper.
For your favorite rappers. Dust. I don't really got a punchline.
If it's a motor dust.
Honestly,
we're not ready.
And in terms of especially like other, and what I saw today was the Lion King cast Circle of Life have started rehearsals today.
But aren't they in London?
Yeah, they're in London. They started with rehearsals, and there's a video of them, singing, because it's been a while since they've done it. Lockdown messed up their plans, and they back going back on stage on tour again. And I started crying because I get to remember the first time I started watching The Lion King, Simba, Mufa, the whole shebang.
You started crying.
It took me back. It did. I dropped a tear. I mean, it's been running for so many years. So many years. A South African production taking over the world. So for that part, I won't be in Europe. So I wish them the best. They must kick ass as they always do, and let's get the numbers out there. So on your end, I see you also shared a story of your favorite couple.
It's not my favorite couple. It's the guy. So DeVale. Yes, DeVale is my fave. This is some international news. Obviously, DeVale, he also acts on Sisters. And I love all the content that he puts up on his social media. And he's finally getting to act or be in a film with Gabrielle Union, and it's a highlight for him. And I basically can't wait to see that coming up. And I think on Friday, we have to be intentional about talking about television and film and what people should be watching, because I feel like there's just so much out there. This weekend I was binge watching on a lot of great things. That new Power book by 50 Cent, so interesting.
The book of Canaan.
Yes,
that is
so interesting. Episode. I was like, wow.
Because it had a lot of people debating about if it's
gonna work
from the Power book series, because there's a lot of stories that are gonna come out from the Power book series itself. They started with the original Power with Ghost in them, and then they had Ghost's son, Tariq, and everybody. And after this one, expect who's this? Uncle Tommy. Who's this?
Wow.
Tommy, Ghost's friend.
Wow, that'll be interesting. Yeah, that'll be hectic.
So, and they're also working on season 2 of the Book of Power, Book 2, the Ghost version. So, the first episode of Canaan was like me watching Get Rich or Die Trying. The 50 Cent movie that came out. So that was him narrating the first episode, and it felt like, why does it feel like I'm watching Get Rich or Die Trying?
No, but get to episode 2. I'm telling you, it's great.
That's what I'm saying. I never said it's not great. I said it's amazing.
But the way you're saying, why does it? The way the tone you're thinking, bro.
But you know me. I love explaining things because when it comes to such things, get not serious.
Mara Emma, go kala no, he's a go na.
Yeah, because get passionate. This
is the drop. Let's come back. You even jumped into the drop before I even said, okay, let's get into the drop. All of a sudden, with the drop. I'm just like, biang,
podcast.
But you know what's my interesting drop? Reason, who now goes by the name Sizwe Alakine, who has a track with DJ Maphorisa called Kanda Shisa. Have you heard it?
I've heard it. I was watching their live when they first worked on the song. And I was like, I've known, Reason he's very good. He's a dope lyricist.
Yeah.
And also in terms of vernac rapping, a lot of people didn't know that he can also switch it up. But he is so versatile. But he has only offered us the English yo-yo rapper, underground battle rapper. But I love the song. I love the song. There's more lyrics. I'm a piano beat. There's a lot of rappers, going into that direction, because Amapiano is taking over Africa. Like, it's taking over Africa. It's like Hennesman of Fifi Storm. The same way. It's the same way. Definitely. Okay. I loved it. And they're currently touring. They're in Ghana now, because I saw him. Another book, Awumpela. Who's the comedian from the States, from Ghana? He was also there. So Kanda Chisa. If if they drop it, like they dropped it properly, people need to catch up to it. It's a fire song. Now, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I love it. I love his versatility. And for me, it's like, you know how a lot of people will, I guess, ridicule someone by saying, "Hore ajo," you know, you're underrated, or ing, you know. And I'm glad that he's not letting that kind of energy take him down, because he knows how good of an artist he is. And I think him just exploring his talent for as far as he can is a really good thing, because like right now we get to, I think he shouldn't even stop here. I think he should look into other genres, like, you know, like what Questa had done the other time when he literally featured the whole world and he jumped on all the tracks you can think of on the planet. I think he should do something like that and explore. Like I'd love to hear him do jazz. You know, I'd love to just see him be part of any kind of music thing he wants to jump on, and because I think he's that talented. I'm a groupie though, so that's why I give last.
Yeah, because I feel he has kind of jumped into those, you know, just that it's the first time removed on an amapiano song, because Casper has done it. Vocalistic is a rapper who also transitioned into amapiano, and people started taking notice of him. So it's a beautiful genre to jump into, because a lot of people, when it first started out, they were like, yeah, amapiano, it's gonna die out in the next couple of years, but I see Gom doing it. So that's where you get the battle of Gom and amapiano. So I say, seize Alec Line, come through with it. Come through with the pink.
Yeah, no.
With the pink or red hair. I love it. I want. So let's come. Let's do it. Maybe we're not maybe a Carve joint thing.
But what I know first is that there is a Pretorian internationally, and that is Saul Madiope. He has a track called A Prayer with Credo. That is his latest offering, which is basically, you know, kind of like giving us a bit of a prelude to the amazing album that you know he has, and more music that he's about to drop. So we are letting him in, and we're just gonna have a chat with him and find out more about what this project is about, what we can be expecting. And Kiyu, have you listened to the song A Prayer with Credo? What do you think of it?
It's one thing about jazz music is it is so timeless, and whether you drop it, it's in the 21st century, 2021 or whatsoever, jazz tells a story, and the fact that he has done amazing work with a lot of well-known musicians, and people are gonna get to hear more of him, you know. So let the man introduce himself, because and you know how I get when it comes to music. So he's in the building, Mr. Saul Madiope. Welcome to Carve podcast.
Hey, hey, thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
How could we not? I mean, that single, when I heard A Prayer with Credo, I was like, I know how much you love him, but just how you infuse that jazz. It sounds like house music, but I'm not sure. I'm just like, what is it? And I think I'm not the only person who has that question in mind. And I thought it would be best for us to just bring you on this space, for you to just tell us more about the single and what we should be looking forward to.
So the single, I think more than anything, jazz for me is like, it's more than one thing. So I think the challenge that I kind of faced when I was trying to create the album was that in South Africa, there's like a standard of jazz. It's like, if you don't make that contemporary jazz, that Huma Sikela, not that old school jazz, you know? But then when you look at other countries, they've like found different kinds of jazz, and they like infuse house, R&B. So I was just trying to basically, with the whole album, not just the single though, I was just trying to create a sound that has many sounds and call it jazz, because I feel like it goes towards jazz, and in SA we don't really have like artists that are doing a different kind of jazz. It's mostly like a traditional kind of jazz. So with the single A Prayer with Credo, it was I produced it with one of my fellow producers. His name is Roy Cavalli, and I didn't even know that this song was going to be on the album, but the way everything came together, it sounded like, yeah, this is on the album, because it's got a groovy feel. Because the one thing as well that I've noticed, because like being independent is very difficult,
yeah.
So when you get playlisted, let's say a Spotify or an Apple playlist, when you create a sound that can go across different genres. So for example, if I tell them, this is jazz, they'll definitely playlist it under jazz, but as well they'll get to hear Rayman. But we can also put this in an R&B, a soul, an Afro house. So what it does for an independent artist like myself is that it expands your sound to different places, So that's jazz, Joe. Jazz is everything. It's not just one thing. Then that's my main mission with the album, was to kind of show people that I don't just play the saxophone. I'm more of a producer, actually, and to just create a different kind of sound, man. Like I'm not gonna say we've been hearing the same thing, because it's not the same thing, but it's a similar kind of thing. So I just wanted to create something different that even the youth can relate to. Because when you hear jazz, you think old people, and you think, I can't listen to this. So it's like we need to make jazz more like new age jazz, basically. That's what we call it. It's like creating a new sound, basically.
Guys, let me just tell them a bit more about you, because this guy has a discography, okay? So don't just think we're just talking about just a single. Like there's a lot here, okay? There's a whole Kolobe, there's the Toratsa Kolobe, there's Dimpotsa Lefati, there's the crossover that he had with jazz groupies. And right now he has 2 singles that are going to be part of the Motherland Jazz album, and literally that's A Prayer with Credo, as well as Forever featuring Filala, who is obviously absolutely amazing. And I just want to talk about the whole Kolobe thing. Where does that come from? Why only so attached to it?
So Kolobe basically is my totem. Nagibina Kolobe. Originally, I'm a Pedi boy, like my blood is Pedi. So when I started the whole jazz thing, I didn't really want to. I get the fame.
Is it me?
Nope, it's not.
Oh, Rory. Rory, can you hear me?
He's muted now, officially.
He's not. Okay, he is.
He's not. He's
okay,
back.
I can definitely. I can hear you guys. But I'm just gonna park somewhere. Give me like 2-3 minutes so that we can actually speak. But yeah, just give me like literally 5 minutes. Let me park and then let's chat.
Cool, no problem.
Okay, I guess we'll get him back. And that was definitely Saul Madiope. I like the surname and the name and the combination. I mean, wow, 9 productions, 9 projects. That's insane.
The
there's not a lot of
guy
artists.
is busy.
He's busy. There's not a lot of artists in our day and age that I could say 9 projects, especially in South Africa as well. And he has done amazing, overseas.
Tandon J.
Yeah,
imagine he produced Tandon J's album.
And Tando is well known overseas, and her songs have also been featured on amazing productions. Because I also see with him, but he will tell us more about his journey overseas. What do you think about that? When he comes back, he has to tell us everything about him. So yeah, so far, are you enjoying the episode? Are you enjoying this whole journey, Kat?
I am, but it's just like, you know, in another world, I would be so getting, you know, like with my perfectionist nature, it would have been something that would make me feel like, oh no, like this episode we have to scratch it out or whatever the case is, because I want perfection, you know. But for some reason, because of the year that we've had and, you know, how far Carve has come, especially from when we started doing any type of podcast, it just makes me feel like it's okay. Like, it's okay to show imperfection, and, you know, it's like you're growing, you're starting, you're trying, and as time goes on, you'll be able to refine and get things to look perfect, or as close to what your ideal nature of it could be, you know. So I'm still excited, I'm still happy to be here, and yeah, I feel like it's a good night. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, definitely same here. I mean, as you said, there's a lot of things happening in the world, and we're also going through a transition ourselves in terms of the mentality and how we tackle things on a daily basis, and how we speak to ourselves. So whether the first episode is not going or supposed to go the way we thought it was gonna go, I'm enjoying myself. I am having fun. I am in my zone currently.
Oh, come on, wena.
Celebrate. Yes. I mean, we've been speaking about this for so many months.
Yeah.
And we finally here. We're finally gonna put it out, and we're definitely happy with, you know, the steps that we have taken. So people, be ready. We are definitely coming through. We definitely gonna give you guys more content, you know, guests, musicians, creatives as a whole, and
for sure.
Yeah, let's do this.
Of course. I mean, how can we stop here when there's so much content and great talent that we get to see from South Africans, you know? Like every single day, someone is dropping some kind of music, some kind of project, some kind of film, you know, some kind of documentary. Speaking of, I saw that The Legacy on Mnet season 2 is coming, and someone that I know, he is actually the DOP. He's been chosen to be the DOP of that, and it's an absolute achievement to see big platforms such as your Mnet and big productions giving young Black people an opportunity to take center stage in leading such big productions. So that's a really big one that I saw as well. And yeah, so shout out to Tammy for getting that going.
I mean, Chedza, you know, pictures as a whole, whatever they've dropped so far has taken South Africa to a different league, you know, in terms of television and film. Script writing as well is everything, because I feel our television industry hasn't really challenged, you know, the viewers, hasn't really, you know, got the viewers, you know, to think about things that are actually happening, and they were so scared of showing the viewers such content on television. So congratulations to Chedza Pictures, River, what else? The Legacy on Mnet. There's a lot of productions that are coming through from Chedza Pictures.
You clearly have information we don't have. But anyway, Saul is back on the line. Saul, are you back?
I'm back, guys.
You sound so much better. And can I tell you that you literally only have 3 minutes to tell us all the amazing things you were telling us then. And we got to hear a whole lot about the, you know, how the Kolobe came about, but it was such a blurry thing. I think in one sentence, can you put it together again?
Okay, so basically Kolobe is just, it's my culture, man. It's who I am, and that's where everything started, because I'm here now, but before there were many people who came before me for me to be here. So the reason why I always pay homage is because I feel like even for me to be able to create music, it's not me that creates the music, it's the spirits that are embodied inside of me.
Hectic. yeah. And, so we were just talking about how we feel like it's such a major accomplishment to see that you have completed 9 projects. Like, I mean, how do you do that? Where do you find time to do that? Do you not have anything else to do? Are you just in the studio all the time? Like, how does it work?
I mean, the 9 project Shandis, it was a thing where last year I had a meeting with everybody I make music with, and I was like, because I've only been producing it, I've only been here for 2 years, this is my 2nd year. So me creating everything was like, in the meeting I was like, guys, you need a CV. I mean, if you're gonna present yourself anywhere via music, your discography is basically like your CV, your musical CV. So when COVID hit, man, I was creating a lot. So in a year we made so many projects, and today it makes sense. Like, I still don't know how I did it or how we did it, because now it's like, yo, gelapi Joe, and but last year it was like I said, Joe, and that's basically what happened with the 9 projects. So that when we go and present ourselves anyway, we get there with like, we don't just get there saying, hi, I'm this guy. Now you actually can go check the work. You're like, okay, they've actually been putting it work, and independently so, because making music independently is expensive, doing anything independently is expensive, so we're just blessed to be able to share our gifts with the world.
Yeah. And imagine HBO. Did you ever see yourself being like having your song in the first episode of a series called In Treatment on HBO? I mean, what was it like? Like, imagine you to my TV, or you're getting or you're hearing this, and someone is saying, dude, you are literally on an American streaming service.
Now that is still unreal to me. Like, I mean, like, I've got a set of goals that I always write down, and one of the things that I wrote down last year was that, like, to get a sync deal, and then this happened. And I mean, it was like, for me personally as an independent, it's like one of my biggest achievements, because I was like, oh, what you HBO? Oh, what you, not HBO, dog. Like, that was amazing. But that's all through like hard work and like not letting up. You need to make a noise till somebody hears you. If you really believe in your craft, you must make a noise until they hear you. That's basically the mentality I had. And we're fortunate enough for like to get support from Apple Music. Apple Music have like this program where they support independent artists, and they put like the project we did with Jazz Groupies. It's like the dude from USA, so they put that on a playlist in the USA, and that's how the guys from HBO actually found it. So some dude from an agency contacted us, and I'm like, whoa. And that's just off a playlist. So you realize the value of getting playlisted is so powerful. And I always share this with artists. All right, Joe, get yourself on a playlist.
You gotta love this, right?
I love it. Let's go.
He was literally so heated, and he was, giving us the details of everything. And then
everything,
all of a sudden, poof, gone. And he was like, dropping some serious bars.
Well, that's thing is, one thing about perfection and something like that is supposed to happen. When we're having too much fun, it has to happen. This is part of our journey. This is part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
back.
Guys. He's back.
Hey.
Yeah, like one thing is like, even I was trying to have an interview this past weekend, and like obviously we're in a new age where I think online is the future, right? So it's just we're struggling sometimes with networks. So I know obviously get the trial run, but there'll be a time when everything will go smooth. But even in life, things don't go smooth.
That's exactly what we were saying.
That's so crazy. Wi-Fi connection.
Reconnectile, bro. Why is it reconnectile all the time?
Yeah, that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. And you know, we find a lot of inspiration from literally hearing about, like, you know, how you just always pushing forward. And I think it's like such a motivating thing, because a lot of young people that tap into music, they kind of just want to become popular or famous, like the minute they drop one song, you know. I mean, how many tracks do you have over here? And you know, if you had that expectation, would you have gone as further out than more than what you've done on Bara Sauce?
Nah, look, I mean, when I produce for Bara Sauce or create, that's another kind of spiritual music. And when we started, I always knew our name, and you know, people won't receive this like you're gonna receive a Beyonce or a vocalistic, you know. It's like different music, man. And you know, making music goes hand in hand with knowing who you are and where you belong. You know, you must find your lane and then stick to it. Once you then find your own lane, then you start building in that lane, then there's no way people won't find you at some stage, you know. Like I was saying earlier, Hore, we must make a noise until they hear us, you know. And when I say a noise, it basically means working hard, like keep working. Like when before I started, I mean, I'd look at so many, you know, like, you know, developed artists and be like, Joba fitla byang, you know. And now I actually get it, because how you get there is just working hard, Joe. Like that's all it is, working hard, and you are your own competition. If you compete with yourself, like making sure that the last show, you know, you're gonna beat the last show. Like you see this show, this podcast is like this, then you're like, okay, the next one we have to come harder. For real. So that's just that's just how the process goes with the road to success and you know, being successful. It's like we just try to do better than the last time, and we treat the last time like it's the last time, you know. Like I treat this interview like it's the last time I'll ever have an interview, because you never know when it's time to, you know, log out this life thing. So everything we do, our passions, we need to do them like it's the last time you do it. And that's how you'll always get the best from yourself, because you're doing it like you're dying, you know.
Tell us about.
I'm inspired, eh?
He's so deep, dog. I know he's so deep. That's why. Like, how did Fila La come in the picture? Like, you know, how do you pick the people that you collaborate with on your tracks? Because I know that, you know, you have Afro soul, R&B. You bring on so many different kinds of vocalists. This tribal thing. Some of the tracks sound like choir behind you. How do you bring in those elements?
So when it comes to vocalists, I like spend a lot of time just searching for like vocalists, especially like because I'm in Pretoria. So I always try to look for people that are around Pretoria, because then it becomes easier to work, you know. So I'd spend a lot of time on like Apple Music, the charts, and you just check, this person is from Pretoria. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, you find independent artists sponsoring their posts, and I pay attention. So I've like always had certain artists that I've looked at in Pretoria, and I was like, I've had the chance to work with Elaine, like, and her going where she went and being able to work with, I was like, there's no way I can work with an artist that's in that level and not be able to raise myself to that level, you know? So with vocalist Joe, I don't know, but I'm gifted with, I've got a good ear. Like I know, like I just know when someone has something. I don't know how I know, but I know. And I've gotten to a point where when I make a beat, I know who to hit up. Because even you know, on the album, I didn't want to have a lot of vocalists on. I just decided I need 3 good vocalists, and so I always work with Tando. Like we're business partners as well. Like we opened the label together. Halala Gumbi is like a sister to me, and she's, oh my God, if I really pray the world needs to hear Halala. Like Halala is one of the greatest vocalists in SA, and I'm not capping. Like she's on that Amanda Black level, you know. So she just needs that exposure, you know. And I made a promise to her, and I'm like, Joe, now whatever I do or wherever I'm at, I'm gonna include you so that she can get her glory, because she's yo, she's too ahead actually, you know. And with Fila, it was like I've loved Fila. I found Fila's music during lockdown last year. As soon as I found her music, I'm like, because when you hear her music, it's too international, you know. So when now you have to pick and choose who you work with, as much as it's about the talent, but you need to be strategic as well, because I mean, if you're working with an artist, we must give each other value. Even in life, if you're doing business or whatever, you must get value for value, you know. Like if I'm coming, I must bring something to you, and you must also give something to me. So I work with people that work hard, basically, you know. And I know Fila takes her craft serious, Tando takes her craft serious, Halala takes her craft serious. So it was very easy to kind of pick them out and say, guys, let's work. And with Fila, it was a bit of a mission, because obviously Corona hit, and she couldn't make it to the studio. And what she did, she recorded everything in the home studio. I think she has a home studio, and it was kind of difficult, obviously, because now, if you're recording in my studio, I have like my certain quality, and then maybe her studio isn't as equipped, maybe because she has an actual studio that she goes to, and maybe she uses the home studio for like, I don't know, but it was a mission in terms of she had to record in the home studio, and then she sent over the vocals, you know. And there's a mate of mine, he's like my hero, one of my biggest heroes. He's the only dude that I mix my projects with. I don't trust anybody but him with my projects. And we sat on that song, and like, I can't, if I were to play the original audios versus what we got, like for me, everything is self-taught. Nobody taught us how to do this. This is just us pressing buttons and just wanting to do something. So I mean, I've made so many projects, and in some projects I can still hear here I was still a kid in terms of mastering and mixing, you know, but not a lot of, like, the listener doesn't focus on the mixing and the master. The listener focuses on the music. It's only industry cats that will be like, I think you should have done this and done that, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, just believe in your sound, believe in the feeling your sound gives people, and that's what basically captures people. They won't care or mix this or must. Feeling. People want feeling. We are attached to feeling. You know, feeling is all we have as human beings, basically. So when we create, the feeling that song gave me, I was just like, I get honey, I say Dr. Dre mixing Mara, feeling track is what someone else will feel. And that's how human beings relate. We relate via feeling.
And I know how to feel Credo. Like,
oh, I love Credo. Like, if it was up to me, the whole world would actually read his books, and you know, especially South Africans or Africans. Like, I'm very interested in like African like shamans, because there's, like I said, culture has been killed, man. Like, this generation, a lot of culture has been lost in translation, you know. But it's like, how I see culture is like, it's like a car. So back then, a car will always have 4 wheels. It will always have an engine. It will always have a steering wheel. Those are the basics. Whether it's a Ferrari, it's a Tez, it's whatever, but it will always have 4 wheels, a steering wheel, an engine. So even with culture, as much as culture may evolve, but there's basics. And what I love about Abu, like Credo Motwa, and there's another dude, he's called Patrice Malidoma. Like, their teachings speak of the basics that we lack as, like, you know, a new age of people. Like, we don't know our roots, you know. Like, I mean, as much as, yeah, you know, there is Christianity and like other religions, you know, but then outside of that, there's still the African side. I mean, things like like going to cleanse yourself. I mean, if we spoke about cleansing yourself maybe 5 years ago, people would be like, hey, witchcraft, you know. But now what's weird is like, it's so sad how we don't like our own culture. But I understand also, because how we grew up in this age, they shied us away from it. And when you find it, it is scary. Because even for myself, I mean, the first time I was exposed to pure culture, when my father passed on, I had to go get cleansed. I mean, at that point, I was still, very westernized in terms of Jesus Christ and religion, But that was like the first time I got exposed, Brian. You get there and you cleanse, Brian. You realize, and then you start being like, oh, but that wasn't so bad. And you then view the results, because for me, it's about results. So it's like, okay, I went to go cleanse. And then how did my life go after that? And then I look at myself today versus when I was back in 2014 trying to accept Toreo. And I look at myself and I'm thankful, because from there to now, and what I found out about culture, it's still here, is like powerful things that I really want to share with the world. And that's why I always try and put Credo in music, so that someone will ask, hey, Mara, who's this Credo motor? And when they go Google or whatever, they'll then find teachings. And what's dope about Credo, he has books. That man wrote so many books, bro.
Yeah.
And he's spitting wisdom in his books. But now, that's what I just want to achieve by that is I want to get young people to start looking into their own cultures, like Imang, gets Wakai, because I think for us as a young youth, it's all about where I'm going. But you don't want to look where you're coming from, because if you can find where you're coming from, I promise you, it's not just the cliche. If you know where you're from, it's not a cliche, it's true. Because if you find out, if you actually maybe do research, then you find out your great-great-granny was actually a writer. And which is why today, maybe you find yourself in a space where you like writing. Like this thing didn't start with you. It started long ago. You are just it's just the continuation of a DNA. So the more and more you try and find out about your family and, both mother and father's side, regardless of the relationship with your mother and father, but knowing where you're from, where you stem, it makes me strong, because when now I did research, I find that so many people in my family made music, both father and mother side. I mean, I found out that one of my brothers, my dad's brothers, he actually had a studio, like a full-on studio.
Really?
And I'm like, whoa, back then, you see that, and you're a continuation of what has already existed. You are not special. You are just a continuation, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm like, I'm not alone when I make music, man. We're never alone when we complete our passions. You always walk with a certain spirit that has already existed way before you were born.
Guys, Yovo? Ridiculous, guys. You see, these are late night chats, everybody. Late night chats, grown folk talk, okay? So, Rory, there's something important. Okay, let me let you speak. Let me give you a chance.
No, I was just gonna say you are not clap about Times Square.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, Hore. That's what I'm saying, Hore. Like rinyatsa culture, wabo. Like rinyatsa tata, rinyatsa. And what people we don't understand as a collective is that it's a spiritual battle, my man. I mean, if you've went through like something like that, Hore, on a certain path, like death is around you, so you need to drive that spirit away from you. You know what I mean? It's not a question of effect. And I've seen like people that maybe after maybe I clap and their lives go in a weird way, and that's why I'm like, I think for me it was a thing where I've seen it with my eyes, and that's why now I'm so adamant and I believe in it so much. Like, Joe, Africa is where Joe, everything we need, bro. Everything we need.
And I can see that, like from the cover to how it's in, like these two artworks from these two singles that are gonna be in Motherland Jazz. You have this kind of like a centered theme where we see like a black person, and then we see like blue skies and a lot of yellows and reds. Is that like, are you gonna drop every single and create some kind of collection with these artworks? It looks like something else is coming that's going to go alongside with the music when I look at these artworks.
So basically, you're so smart, I must say. You're very smart. So like with the artworks, I'm working with a guy who actually paints. So when I got the graphic designer, his name is Best in Ngube, one of the best in the country. It's crazy that his name is Best, and he's actually so dope and very he's humble. He's so humble. And again, but when we had a chat, I was like, yo, dog, let's infuse like art, because music is not just music. And that's the other element that other people miss, is that they think music is just the MP3 file that people play. It's bigger than that, it's like the artwork, So what we did now is like, we're painting different, like, so with the Forever single, the lady you actually see, the figure you see, the Queen Mojaji. So Mojaji is a big part of Kolobe. So which is why it was like pay tribute, the Rain Queen, and then with Credo as well. So we're doing a painting of those two, and also the actual art. And then the one big artwork we're gonna keep an auction. And now the thing is, I collaborated with this artist so that like people actually buy art, like I don't think people understand how valuable art is. And what people don't see is like, today you're here and people think Carve, but like in like 2025 you'll be a renowned name. So anything you did in 2020, people are gonna go back and want to find it. So now imagine if now we've painted something in 2021, in 2026 or 2025, the value it will hold is a lot, because you would have built value to yourself. So that's why we now infuse the whole art thing and the music, so that even when we have the shows and when we host shows, the artwork is there. Should there be anyone that wants to now buy it, they will buy it, you see. And that now gives back and adds value to you and also your bank account, so that you can push the music. So we just have to find different avenues of how do we make more than music and still make money from that, because we need a couple of cents to survive, Buffett.
Yeah. Even if it's just for something you love, you at least have to be somehow sustainable.
Find a way, because I think why most Black parents don't really believe in our craft is because this question, hey, music, how are we? You know what I mean? Black parents are like, if they don't see like outcome in terms of finance, they get scared, which is natural, because I mean, as a parent, you will worry, is my kid gonna be okay? They really love this thing, but I haven't seen any, but the thing is, that's when now as a Black youth, you need to push through, because there'll come a day when they believe. Like my mom never expected me to make music, and like now I'm blessed and fortunate enough to actually have her supported, because she's seeing progress, you see. So the challenge for us Black youths is like, the more you work, the more you make your parents believe. Some people are blessed enough to have, parents or whoever raised them believe in them before they even started. And then there's those that have to go through the struggle first and then they believe. And this is like a typical example of society. When you start something, no one is gonna believe in you. Society will just see, hey, this guy just started music, that's great, but they don't want to pay attention, just like a parent. But once they see you actually working hard and doing, then people start getting attached to that, and they're like, yo. So it's like the same dynamic with parents, Joyce, that they want to see an outcome, And once you have people and even your family and your parents believing in you, it gives you more belief in yourself that I can actually do this, You
know what I can't wait to hear on the Motherland Jazz album? Sunshine in Pretoria.
Ah, man, I love that song. It's like, I don't even know, like it's a house jazz, like you mix it dilo tse garata house pila originally like wa house, but like growing up I was a DJ. I really liked house, so I can understand why when I make sound vele sometimes it goes to a direction of house, because when I did research on like on Apple Music, when you go to the jazz charts, you realize that damn, it's more than one kind of jazz. Jazz hip hop, jazz eso, broken water. So you don't need to limit yourself and say I'm gonna make this. Like when I created the first two projects, I was paying homage, which is why the sound is very like old school, like a kind of jazz, you know. But now it's like I wanna actually relate with the youth, the people that are gonna still be here. I paid my homage to my ancestors. Now I must pay homage to myself.
Pay away. Now, when is this album coming out? Because that's what we want to know.
So the album is coming out on the 31st, which is on Saturday this week. It's available for pre-ed right now with the 2 singles. But I can't wait for everybody to hear it. And I know already people are gonna complain or Joe, the album is too short. But like that's another thing that comes with research, is that when you look at the age we live in, people have like a short attention span. So what you want to do when it comes to music is that you want to create something that you can hit somebody with and, you know, let them the replay value. It's like an album is, you know, usually an album is about 45 minutes. So I was like, okay, if a normal album is 45 minutes, let me make mine 35 or 36, 10 minutes less, which is about 2 tracks less. But what will come with that is the replay value. They will play it. You know, it's too short. Yeah, and that's what I realized with dropping all those projects last year, was like the replay value. Short and sweet, and then you get the replay value and you actually get the music where it needs to be. Like a lot of people still operate with that traditional, you know, model where they're like, you need to have an album that's 1 hour. People don't listen for 1 hour anymore. People listen for 40 minutes max, and then they done, or they want to go back to you know what I mean?
Album finish.
So also the suspense value. It's like that 35 minutes, and then as soon as people are done listening to it, they want to hear more of you, so they can't wait for your next.
Exactly, big bro. And that's the whole mentality. And I learned this, I won't lie, I learned this last year, even through jazz groupies. Like, it's so weird that I have never met this man. He's all the way in America, but then the gems that we share with each other. I mean, that dude is about like, he's in his 40s. And he's like, dude, I can't believe that you're still 29, dog. It's like, you're still in Tuana in my eyes. But like the level at which you think, you know, we must think future, because we're in a digital age. It's not going anywhere. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger. So we must start thinking in those kind of ways, you know. And unfortunately, like I said, we're in an age short attention spans. The only time when you will definitely have a listener's full attention is a live show. So what's dope about the album is that the album is 36 minutes. But the live presentation is definitely not that. It's longer. That's when now you bring out 45 to an hour on Kalohang. So that's where like my mind has been with basically the duration of an album on Kalohang.
Well, I think we need to wrap it up here so that we can continue to also have value of people listening to our podcast. We don't want to find a podcast being out here for 2 hours, you know. So thank you so much, Rory, for coming through. I really appreciate it. It's our very first podcast episode that we're doing on the Carve daily podcast show.
Dog. I'm so honored, dog.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming through and kicking it off with so much knowledge and wisdom and great motivation, perfectly suited for a Monday. Guys, do check out his discography. He's on all digital streaming platforms. He has 9 projects. He's worked with, you know, some of the most amazing people. I mean, we all know Tandon J and we love her a lot. And as you know about Halala Gumbi, do check her out as well. And currently there are 2 major tracks that are out from Motherland Jazz. It's coming out this coming weekend, like he said. But there's a Credo with Credo, as well as Forever featuring Fila La La. And her name, I'm just like, is it Fila La or Fila La La?
I said like Fila La La.
Oh, Fila La La. Okay.
That's me. I don't even know if I'm saying it correct.
Fila La La. Okay, we love her though. It sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Rory, for joining us and having a chat with us on the Carve Daily Podcast.
Thank you guys Thank you guys so much for having me. And like, I mean, I just want to say, you know, like, I've seen Kat hustle, you know, for years, bro, and like to see your growth, Mfana, it's godly, and
thanks,
I wish more and more for you, Mfana. Like, hard work never goes unnoticed in the eyes of the spirit. Maybe for physical people, you know, but in the eyes of the spirit, it doesn't go unnoticed, and you will get what is due for you. Trust me.
Thank you, bro. Yes. Yep, and that's how we wrap it. Basically, everybody do tune in to www.carve.africa. We are Carve Africa on all social media platforms, and that's how we wrap up our first episode of the Carve Daily Podcast. Do check us out on all digital streaming platforms because that's where we at. And from myself, Kolobe Maifadi, as well as Gil Mahoney, do you have any parting words?
Yes, just simple. Dream, believe, do.
Yes!
Let's go.
From Pretoria to the world. That's how we wrap it up. Cool. Thanks, guys.